When this video goes up, I'm gonna be at COE in the Netherlands, the yearly Osu-LAN held in Den Bosch in the Brabantalen. But I don't want to keep you guys waiting for content, and I have a video idea that I've been sat on for a few years now. You may or may not know, but recently Aspire 6 was announced, and because of that, I went back to playing Solace of Oblivion. This map won Aspire in 2017 and was extremely creative, uncovering many bugs that had remained undiscovered until that point. I set a play on it in 2017, but left the map without an FC for 9 years. But because of the Aspire 6 announcement, I decided to go back to it, and I got an FC. Finally. But in this video, I want to go through just what makes the map tick, just how it's played, so that you too can get an Aspire FC if you put the grind in. There are going to be 3 things to an FC on this map. You got to read Aeon 9.4, you got to be able to play 0ms sliders, and you've got to be able to read 2B, a mapping style where there are 2 objects or more in play at the same time. So let's get into the map in the editor and check them out. So the first thing to Solace of Oblivion is the approach rate. It's Aeon 9.4, which means there's a few more objects on your screen than you might be used to dealing with. But that's okay, because as long as you put a little bit of time in, Aeon 9.4 is playable by anyone, and arguably is quite comfortable. The second part lies here, however. 0ms sliders. You may not be able to see, but these up here do not have a length. They end as soon as they start. And if you didn't know, sliders in Osu Stable force you to miss if you tap them after they end. What does that mean for us here? If you are even 2 milliseconds late tapping this slider, you will force a miss. I'll come back to these 0ms sliders later, but for now, the other places these appear are just after this section, there is a long section with 0ms slider jumps, and after this build-up, there is another short section with some more 0ms sliders, specifically these here, and then these here. And then after the Ki, you can see them here, because they are the slider art sliders. And remember, if you hit this any later than perfect, you will miss them, as happened in my FC in 2017. Yes, I know I just said I FC'd when I missed, but just allow it, okay? With that said, let's get back to these. These 0ms sliders are a little more special. These happen twice in the map, once here, and once earlier, at around about 400 combo. What's special about these sliders is they are stacked. That means you cannot tap the next slider before the last one has completed. And now remember what I said about if you tap late, you miss, you are given a tiny window to hit these in, which I will now demonstrate. Do you notice how I can't hit them outside of that small section of the UR bar? Now here's the thing with these sliders. You can tap them as early as you like. You can stream these as quickly as you want to, and you will probably still hit them. The only caveat here is if you finger lock once, you are likely going to miss on them. The other takeaway here is that by mashing them as hard as you can, you then need to be ready for the 0ms slider section that comes up straight afterwards, which you need to be tapping early on anyway. So there are 2 ways to play this. Overstream them and mash, and then code switch to tapping early for the 0ms slider section, or stream them at the correct BPM, but slightly early, looking at your unstable rate bar, and then you're in the correct mode to be hitting these sliders early as well. It's up to you. And now for the 2B sections. There are 2 types of 2B in this map. There is true 2B and there is fake 2B. The true 2B is easy. You can hit these notes as early or as late as you want, and you will still be able to hit them. You can tell that it is true 2B because every circle is lit up as if it is in the foreground. It is not hidden behind a slider. This pattern, for example. This next pattern, for example. You have to be careful though, because there is also fake 2B in this map. This earlier section is one such case, because you can see some of these circles are grayed out, as if they're behind a slider. How does this differ, you ask? Well, there is a thing called slider note lock, and what this does is if you are not finished with a slider that you're following and you try to tap the circle underneath it, you will get note locked out of that circle. Let me show you. This can happen at random. I'm not entirely sure what causes it, but just be careful when you're tapping the fake 2B that you do not tap too early. The last thing to be wary of in this map is the slider ticks. They only appear in 2 sections, and they are very easy to memorize, so I will show them to you now. This iconic section has sliders that repeat back on themselves. They have 2 slider ticks in them each, and they are at the 2nd and the 4th corners of every pattern. You have to hold and wait over the slider tick to collect it. This is the first, This is the second. This is the third. And this is the fourth. The only other place slider ticks appear is after this section, just before the big iconic 0ms sliders. And there's only one of them. It's in this slider here, so you have to click and hold while it completes. And then you're home free. You now know everything you need to know to go get an FC on Solace of Oblivion. But before you go try it, let me walk you through it one last time, as a little sort of director's commentary. Moving through the start, we get to this slider that you can hold the slider ticks on. There is some 2B here, and this section is true 2B, so you don't have to worry about tapping too early. At the end of this section comes the first appearance of 0ms sliders, so get ready to stream too early. This next bit is a mixture of true 2B and fake 2B. You have to be wary and remember which is which, so you don't note-lock a slider. After this section comes the slider ticks. All you have to do is click and hold at each corner. After that comes some true 2B. Again, you don't have to worry about how early you hit these sliders. But then after this comes the long section of 0ms sliders. You have to overstream these, or you have to hit them too early. Right after this comes more 0ms sliders. You have to get ready to tap these jumps early. The sliders go back to normal here, so you can actually take your time a little with these, as long as you hit them before they end. This next section is something I've not talked about yet, but is really easy in concept. These you can hit by holding your cursor over the middle of them, if you are accurate enough. If not, you can just follow them along and double back. The same then goes for these triangles. You can do exactly the same, you can just hold your cursor over the middle of them and hit them just fine. The ending to this section has more true 2B, so don't worry about these. And then comes a build-up section, which ends with 0ms sliders, so you have to hit these early. Then comes a section of 2B. This is all true 2B, and if you notice there's repeat sliders, you don't have to hold those repeat sliders. That's an explanation for another time though. Lastly, we make our way into the ending. Remember where these 0ms sliders come up. They're easy to remember because they are big slider shapes, but they go by quickly, so you have to be really wary of them. And then all you have to do is be playing on a 16:9 monitor, because if you don't, this next slider goes off screen. And that's it. That's pretty much everything that I had to figure out in order to FC Solace of Oblivion. And for getting this far, let me put up on the screen now a replay comparison between my score in 2017 and my recent score from just the other month in 2026. I hope you enjoy.
podwójne racje? Świetnie.